What if I told you your bank account has less to do with your budget and way more to do with your creative energy? Well, that's the fascinating idea we're diving into today from the source, the sacred geometry of wealth. It suggests our financial reality is actually deeply connected to an energy center inside us. So yeah, let's get into it. So let's just kick things off with a question that kind of challenges everything we've been taught about money. I mean, have you ever felt like you're working harder and harder but just not getting ahead? This perspective suggests the problem might not be your strategy, but your energy. What if wealth isn't something you have to chase, but something you can attract? That's the core idea we're going to unpack. All right, first things first. To really get a handle on this concept, we have to kind of throw out our old definition of wealth. So just for a moment, forget about piling up cash and stuff. And this right here perfectly illustrates that new way of thinking. Instead of seeing wealth as this stagnant pond that you have to guard all the time, imagine it's more like a powerful, flowing river. It's always in motion, right? A dynamic current of abundance that you can actually tap into, not just some static number on a screen. Okay, so if wealth is a river, what controls the dams and the currents? Well, this is where it gets really, really interesting. The source argues that those controls aren't out there in the world, they're inside our own bodies. So let's take a look at our energetic blueprint. Now, the key to this inner map is a concept you might have heard of called chakras. If you're new to this, don't worry, chakra is just a Sanskrit word for wheel. And you can think of them like these main power stations along your body's energy grid. When they're running smoothly, everything just flows. But when they get blocked, you get what you could call energetic brownouts. And as you can see, there are 7 of these main energy centers, and each one governs a different part of our being. But for the purpose of unlocking wealth, the source tells us to zoom in on one in particular. And that brings us to the creative core of our being, the sacral chakra. According to this whole perspective, this is the master key to unlocking that river of abundance we were just talking about. So it's located just below the navel, and it's basically the body's headquarters for passion, for creativity, and for pleasure. It's the wellspring of that life force energy that lets us create new things in the world, and that could be a piece of art, a new business, or even a new financial reality. Okay, so this is the million-dollar question, quite literally. How in the world does this energy center in our body connect to the actual money in our bank account? Let's break down the core argument. This slide really lays it out perfectly. Over on the left, you see a blocked, stagnant chakra. Now that mirrors a feeling of being stuck, right? A scarcity mindset, creative droughts. But then on the right, you've got a vibrant, balanced chakra. And that represents a free flow of ideas, an abundance mindset, and just attracting opportunities without even trying. The source is arguing that your inner state literally creates your outer financial reality. So let's be super clear about the main point here. Your ability to generate wealth is a direct reflection of your ability to generate creative energy. It's that simple. If you feel creatively blocked or uninspired, this perspective says your financial flow is going to be blocked too. They're basically 2 sides of the very same coin. So the big question is, how do you get this energy flowing freely? Well, the source outlines what's basically a 4-part practice. And it's not about complex financial planning. It's about embracing your creativity, honoring your emotions, actually allowing yourself to experience joy, and then setting clear intentions for the abundance you want to create. All right, so let's just step back for a second and think about the profound implication of this whole idea, because it's about way more than just money. It's about the very geometry of our reality. And this quote from the source material just sums it all up. The patterns of your inner world are the blueprints for your outer reality. It's suggesting that the world we see isn't just happening to us. It's a mirror. It's a direct manifestation of the energy, the beliefs, and the creative flow that we cultivate inside. And so, that leaves us with a really powerful question to think about. I mean, if our creative energy can shape our finances, what other invisible forces inside of us, our thoughts, our beliefs, our focus, what other forces are acting as the secret architects of our daily lives? It's a pretty fascinating and empowering idea to explore.